I learned that, like, I learned gratitude. I learned to not take things for granted. Because all growing up, my parents were like, "Oh, we're going to pay for your college. We're going to pay for your college." That's what my parents did for me. I'm like, "Your parents did for you. You were on scholarship. What are you talking about?" Of course, they probably, pay for housing and stuff. But they were like, "We're going to pay for your college. We're going to pay for your college." So honestly, all growing up, I didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because I was told my whole life, my parents are just going to pay for it. And so to this day, my mom's like, blows me away. Why didn't you take it seriously? I don't know what, and, I'm just like, well, I just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have the same mentality. All I cared about at that point, especially in high school, was sports. Like I just wanted to play sports. I wanted to play football. Like that was the goal in life. That was one of the goals I set as an 8-year-old. I had a bucket list, and that was one of my goals. My bucket list went right along with my Christmas list from 4, and it literally was play college football, get a truck, get a motorcycle, and I think it was get a gun.
Okay.
And I think so it lined up
completed now.
Almost completely. Yeah, I knocked all that out.
Nice.
I started a new bucket list. But so I was like still going off my bucket list, and I'm like, I just want to play college football. That's what I want to do. I modeled my game after Charles Woodson, right? Heisman Trophy winner back in the day at Michigan. Defensive back, kind of do-it-all athlete. And so I would look at his stats and his numbers and be like, okay, his 40 time is this, his bench press is this and this and that. And I would just work to those so I could be better than him. And so that's all I was focused on. And now high school was easy. Like I still graduated with on the honor roll.
Nice.
Partly because my mom would never let me go anywhere.
She's checking that homework, man.
Oh
making sure it's done.
Even when I was a senior, that's a whole nother story, but I had to fight to even leave the house on a weeknight as a senior in high school. Like my mom was like, you do not go anywhere. You do your homework, and if your homework's done, you do extra studying. Kind of like what she did probably. So, but that wasn't me. So I was just obsessed with football, and I wanted to play. And so I did well enough that, I graduated on the honor roll. But I didn't, back then, it's not like it is now where there's no social media. There's no you can tweet the coaches and like videos and all this stuff. It was like, you got your VHS, from the coach, and you tried to like record your best games, and then you'd send them out, whatever. I failed at that. And, so I went to Snow College, but my parents were telling me they'd pay for it. So I did. And then I failed a bunch and learned a lot, but I had to pay them back. But then the next semester I did good. I got a 3.0.
Nice.
So I didn't have
to. Turn it around?
I turned it around.
That's a big change. I mean, like, that's just a really big change. That's like a mental change. That's a huge momentum shift to be able to go from, to be able to make that pivot.
Yeah.
That's a lot, because you get into like a rhythm. You have your friends, you have your things that you do on every different nights of the week. You have whatever your social groups going on, and your other kind of like, there's like a rhythm to it. And so then you got to, okay, well, I'm going to make a change, and that impacts so many other things. That's a big shift.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think so.
That's cool, man. You turned it around.
I turned it around.
I love it.
And then, I transferred to the U after the mission. Okay. And I wasn't like a stellar student. Stellar, yeah.
Yeah.
But I still, like, whenever it would snow, so what's one of my other passions is skiing and snowboarding. And so whenever it would snow, my friends would like text me, just be like, dude, it's dumping up here. And I'd be like, cool. Close my books, and I get up and walk right out of class and I go get fresh turns. But so you could always tell my grades would dip a little bit in the winter.
There's a correlation between
there was
that snowfall at the top of Big Cottonwood Canyon.
Definitely a correlation. And then my grades would dip a little bit, but then they come back up. But I still ended up graduating with like a 3.2
solid
cumulative. And that's digging out of a hole of 1.21.
Yeah.
So I will say, for the kids listening, like, don't. Like, if you start out bad, it's harder to dig out of that hole than if you have like good and then maybe one bad semester. But
truth,
man, when you start in the hole, it's a grind to get out of that hole. And so it took me a while. And then I think my first 4.0 was in college.
Whoa. That's, man, look, at any university or even in high school, getting a 4.0 in any semester, that's exceptional. That's really, really hard. Because, I mean, that's nice work.
Well
done.
That was expected at my house. And when I didn't, there was a
Wow.
lot of,
When you're in college, right? I mean, you were
yeah. And then I finally did it in college. One of my, I don't know, it was my junior or senior year, and I finally pulled off a 4.0, and I was super
that's
stoked.
freaking awesome, man.
But then I carried that into like graduate work and stuff. So I was rocking a cumulative 4.0 in my first graduate program up until almost the end. And I ended up getting a B, but I was rocking a cumulative 4.0. But I was also going through that graduate program while I was in the Air Force at the same time. So
Okay.
different mentalities then. I wasn't
Sure.
a punk,
You
like
got a little more
college kid
yeah.
just wanting to play football. I was, disciplined, military, had a family, had things, so different mentality. So I learned a lot
Okay.
growing up.
You played football, so what was your position?
So I was a defensive back.
Okay.
It was, it was a good time. But it's short lived.
I mean, that was fun though, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. I walked on there. I didn't have any offers or anything because I didn't know what I was doing, right? And I remember after spring ball, we have an exit interview with the defensive back coach with all your coaches, and defensive back coach was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "If we were to play a game right now, you'd be starting." And I was like, "Sweet." And he's like, "But come in next year, like, and work hard. And there'll be some young guys coming in wanting to play."